Some more breaking news for you today. Yes, the Biden administration is continually being tested as hundreds of rockets are now raining down on Israel. Escalation is inevitable as people are frantically taking cover. I've got the details. Before I go further, if this is your first time at the Next News Network, hit the red button down below to subscribe and then tap the notification bell. And if you like this report, please give it a thumbs up and share this with a loved one. Let's go to the Daily Wire. They report that Israel's Iron Dome intercepted numerous rockets that were fired at the nation. It happened Tuesday from Islamic terrorists inside of Gaza. Palestinian terror groups, quote, in the Gaza Strip fired a massive barrage of rockets at the southern Israeli city of Ashkelon. It happened at dawn on Tuesday. That's according to the Times of Israel. Now, according to that same source, Israeli Defense Forces, they say over 200 rockets and mortar shells were fired from the Gaza Strip towards Israel from 6 p.m. Monday to 6 a.m. Tuesday, dozens of which were intercepted by the Iron Dome missile batteries. They continue that the military said the Iron Dome had a successful interception rate of over 90% of the projectiles heading towards the populated areas. They also state that the Israeli Defense Forces tweeted out a video showing the Iron Dome intercepting the rockets that were fired by the terrorists. Watch. Horrible and horrific video happening right there in Israel. We can take a quick look at the front page of the Drudge Report. Sadly, though, the Drudge Report has really gone downhill lately. But we can take a look at this. 700 rockets hit Israel, targeting Tel Aviv. Netanyahu threatening escalation. Deaths mount. Iron Dome has been overwhelmed and the Ben Gurion Airport closed. So these are the top stories right now on Drudge, and you can also see some of these other stories related to the gas shortages, gas stations running dry, as we reported in our previous report. Now, I do want to point out that as all this is happening inside of Israel, we now have the mainstream media taking an interesting side of this. The narrative now being pushed by MSNBC. You can see right here from Tom Elliott's Twitter account, Palestinian MSNBC guest, Israeli strikes are a war crime. This is ethnic cleansing. So you can clearly see MSNBC taking the side of the Palestinians in this conflict that is now escalating, calling it ethnic cleansing. A very interesting shift. And I'm sure this is not going to be the only time we see anti-Israeli rhetoric being spewed from the mainstream media. We have people like Ilhan Omar, we have Linda Sarsour, who are staunch anti-Israel advocates, and they're going to continue to push that narrative as well, and I'm sure MSNBC will gladly have them on their program to push this narrative. Of course, if you follow any of the end times in Scripture, it does say that in the end of days, the world will turn against Israel. And the fact that we have a mainstream news outlet that would be pushing the ethnic cleansing narrative on a mass scale is certainly an indicator of that prophetic word coming to fruition. Now, are we in the end of days? I don't know, but it sure feels like it. Now, they stayed here on Monday. Fox News foreign correspondent Trey Yingst stayed totally calm as the explosions were going off behind him in Jerusalem. He cut off his own report as he guided the camera crew off to the side. Let's take a look at this shot from Fox.
Themselves in a situation where clashes were bound to happen. They blocked off the area behind me. these steps. And the steps, stay with me 1 second, Eric. Hey, listen to me here. Listen to me. Look me in the eyes. Walk with me. 1 second, Eric. We're just going to back up here. There's going to be an explosion.
Yeah.
It's
Be
fine.
safely.
Keep
Be
moving.
safe.
We're good. We're good. We're just backing up a little bit. I want to make sure my crew's here. And so, Eric, really the concern that these Palestinians have is that their voices won't be heard. But as you can see, there's violence right now erupting. They are throwing stones at Israeli police officers. They're throwing other objects, glass bottles, at those officers who are now responding with stun grenades.
Wow. Now, of course, that was a Fox reporter. Now, if CNN was there, they would call this a mostly peaceful rocket fire. But there was actually a CNN reporter there, and she ran for her life when the sirens went off. Take a look.
That's Adas getting ready for the
Guys,
shot.
we have sirens. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Wow. Startling and terrifying video footage from the Holy Land. All I can do is say we need to pray for peace in the Middle East. If President Trump were still in office, I can guarantee you none of this would be happening. But we have a weak and feckless administration inside the White House, and nobody is afraid to challenge the borders of other nations. Look what happened, what's happening with China and Taiwan, Russia and Ukraine. Now we have this, Palestine, Israel. Nations are lining up behind Palestine. Turkey aligning themselves with Palestine. China, as I said yesterday, they're taking note. Scripturally speaking, we know that China lines up with Iran and Russia against Israel. So these are all familiar battle lines, and hopefully we don't get into a Gog-Magog war situation, but you can't stop what has been written. Am I right? But of course, looking back at that CNN report, we're surprised the CNN crew wasn't cheering on the protesters, throwing the explosives, calling them peaceful. Am I right? Say a prayer. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi. Thank you for watching that report. Let's have a conversation now about the keto diet. I've been doing it for over a year, and I swear by it. But did you know it is one of the quickest ways to achieve a younger looking appearance and burn fat? This diet has been shown time and time again in studies to flatten stomachs, burn belly fat, and give unparalleled anti-aging benefits. The problem is, following a strict keto diet is not easy for the average person. Eating just one bite of the wrong type of food or supplement can reverse the effects of all the hard work you put in that day. That's why I highly recommend my favorite keto powder, Keto with Gary. You can get yours for 51% off now by going to ketowithgary.com. That's ketowithgary.com, or simply by clicking the link below. We'll see you at the next report. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi.
You possess the power to impact the global narrative. Please share this report, and to get more videos like this, become a Next News subscriber by clicking the link below. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.